The following is fact number 31 from my article entitled, "The Facts Speak for Themselves." The majority of the testimony from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the alleged, quote, mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, something the 9/11 report is heavily based on, was gotten through torture and, quote, third hand, passed from the detainee to the interrogator to the person who writes up the interrogation report, and finally to its staff in the form of reports, not even transcripts, end quote. Because of the latter, the 9/11 Commission decided to add a disclaimer to the chapters that are heavily based on detainee interrogations. The disclaimer says, quote, Chapters 5 and 7 rely heavily on information obtained from captured al-Qaeda members. A number of these detainees have first-hand knowledge of the 9/11 plot. Assessing the truth of statements by these witnesses, sworn enemies of the United States, is challenging. Our access to them has been limited to the review of intelligence reports based on communications received from the locations where the actual interrogations take place. We submitted questions for use in the interrogations, but had no control over whether, when, how questions or particular interest would be asked, nor were we allowed to talk to the interrogators so that we could better judge the credibility of the detainees and clarify ambiguities in the reporting. We were told that our requests might disrupt sensitive interrogation process. We have nonetheless decided to include information from captured 9/11 conspirators and al-Qaeda members in our report. We have evaluated their statements carefully and have attempted to corroborate them with documents and statements of others. In this report, we indicate where such statements provide the foundation for our narrative. We have been authorized to identify by name only 10 detainees whose custody has been confirmed officially by the U.S. government, end quote. The 9/11 Commission became unhappy because the government's investigators were, quote, not asking the detainees the kinds of questions it wanted answered, end quote. On August 6, 2007, The New Yorker reports that a former CIA official estimates that about, quote, 90% of the information was unreliable, end quote. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's interrogations are mentioned as a source in the 9/11 report 211 times. On June 15, 2009, the Associated Press reported that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed said he would, quote, make up stories in order to get them to stop torturing him. That is the end of Fact 31. I think the trials in New York City will be the perfect opportunity for individuals to cite their concerns regarding the official account of 9/11. Please be respectful, well-mannered, and promote the best information possible. We need a real criminal investigation into 9/11, and we need it now. If there is information to suggest that elements within our government were complicit in the 9/11 attacks, and there is, then we would be irresponsible as citizens to ignore it. They have put just a few of the suspects forward for the crime of 9/11. Let's remind them that there are more.